Hey everybody, so today we're going to be getting started with programming in Java, and we're going to be doing this in an IDE called Eclipse. So to get started, we can open up Eclipse here. This is the icon for Eclipse. And if you don't have Eclipse downloaded, you can go online and download Eclipse. Just make sure you download the Eclipse IDE for Java developers. And then once you launch Eclipse for the first time, it'll probably come up to a screen like this, asking you what workspace you want to work in, and I'm just going to use this default workspace here, and then we can hit launch. So the very first time you launch Eclipse, it might ask you to choose from a menu. You might not get a screen just like this. You might get a screen where it has a bunch of different options that you can do. What we want to get to is a point where we can create a Java project. So I could click this button right here. If you already have projects in your workspace, you might have to hit File, New, Java Project. And then once we get our project started, we can give it a name up here. I'm just going to call mine Hello World for our very first project that we're creating. And all of these default settings should be fine. Yep, so we can hit Finish here and finish creating our project. And we can hit Don't Create for the module. We don't need that. And then we can open up our project hitting this little arrow here. And you can see that there's the JRE system library, which we don't really have to worry about. That's got a lot of stuff in it. And then we also have this empty source folder. In the source folder is where we're going to be writing all of our code for this Hello World project. So we can right click on source, hit new, and go to class. And we're going to click on class. And for the name of a class, we can't do 2 words. It's all got to be 1 word, unlike the project. So I'm just going to name this the same name as my project, but in 1 word. So I'll say hello_world. You could also do something like main, if this is like the first class in a series of a bunch of classes that you're going to make. But hello world is just going to be our only class for this project, just a really simple project. And if this is the first class you're creating, you're probably going to want to add this public static void main method stub. So we'll hit that check here, and then we'll click finish, and it's going to auto-generate you some code here. So this public static void main is the auto-generated stub, as it says here, that we selected that we want to add. And what main does is main is where the program is going to start the project for the very first time. So if you have a bunch of different classes that you made, it's going to go to the one with main, and then it's going to run all the code in main. So we can write all our code out here. But actually, because of this static keyword, main is a little bit annoying to work with. So you don't want to write all your code in main. You actually usually will just want to write what's called a constructor for this class up here, this public class hello world. And to call the constructor, we can say new to create a new object of the type hello world, so our class name. And then we can add parentheses to it and do a semicolon. Every line needs a semicolon at the end of it. And then up here, we can create our constructor. So the syntax for any constructor is going to be the public keyword followed by the class name, which is hello world in this case, followed by some parentheses, and then a pair of curly brackets. And then once we make that first one, if you hit enter, it should autofill in that right curly bracket down here for us. And then in our constructor here is where we're actually going to write all of our code. And for this very first project, we're just going to do a simple print out to the console hello world. And how you print out is in Java, you say system.out.println or println, followed by parentheses, and then in those parentheses we have some quotes, and then in the quotes you have what you want to say. So we're going to say like hello world, and then again add a semicolon to the end of the line. And if this whole system.out.println was too long for you, which is, it does get kind of annoying if you have a lot of printouts that you want to do, you can just type sysout and then hit Control Space. And this is a cool thing about Eclipse, is that it fills it all out for you. It automatically generates that system.out.println, which is super helpful. So we've got our system.out.println hello world here, and you can make sure you save it with Control S, or you can enable it to automatically save whenever you run. But to run, we're going to click this green button up here, Run Hello World, and that's going to run our code. So as you can see down here in the console, at the bottom of the screen, it printed out Hello World, which is exactly what we wanted it to do. And of course, this was a pretty simple first project. All we did is print out Hello World, but this is kind of the steps that you're going to take for pretty much every single project that you make in Java. We got this. We make the constructor here from main for our class, and then we want to write all of our code in this constructor here with public and then the class name. And I hope that helped. And good luck on getting started in Java.